And we are live.
Hi.
Yeah. So, can you hear us? Yes, you can hear us. Nice.
I can make a quick test actually,
Okay.
just to be sure that everything is working.
Test.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Yeah. So. Okay, let's start. So, hi, I'm Chris.
Fabio.
And today we're going to talk about the Raspberry Pi 4 with 8 gigabytes.
Yes.
The new one, which has been released just this week. Android Studio 4. And as well.
Yes, then news about PS5 and what we should know about PS5.
And then our current streaming setup and how we are
Yes.
currently improving and what we got new about it.
Yes, the problems that we had and the problems that we still have. But yeah, we'll go
through that later.
Right.
Okay. Let's go into the first topic, shall we?
Yes.
So, I did not check if... Oh. Okay, we cannot see the topics that
why
I
not?
wanted to place here. I don't know.
That's weird.
Yeah. Damn it. I wanted to have at least some topics.
Yeah, okay. Also, maybe this time we go without topics.
This time we will have no topic view, but we will have topics. So, the new Raspberry Pi 4 has been announced. So, it was just this week that the Raspberry Pi Foundation released the new Raspberry Pi 4 with 8 gigabytes of RAM, which is a really neat addition.
Yes,
actually, and it was unexpected for me, but actually on the user manual of the Raspberry Pi 4 had already the 8 gigabyte version printed on it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't notice that. But it's the same Raspberry Pi, so
yes.
It's always the 4 same specs, just with 8 gigabytes.
Exactly.
So
and actually, I can just show you a picture.
Yeah, you have to open.
Yeah, I know. Let me just show you the iPad. Actually, you can see it here. On the safety and user guide, you had here in the middle.
Plus 8 GB.
Yeah, 1 gigabyte, 2 gigabyte, 4 gigabyte, and 8 gigabyte variants. So people knew already that there would be an 8 gigabyte model at some time. And actually, as this article is saying, it can actually handle up to 16 gigabytes. So the CPU can handle up to 16 gigabytes of RAM. But the price is already really high just for this $75 version. So I think we can be fine for now with 8 gigabytes of RAM with the Raspberry Pi. And I mean, it really allows so many new use cases. I mean, you can really now fill in some RAM.
Yes. Also, so if you want to use as a server host, where you can have your web applications or your server, REST API server, you can use it without any troubles. So also if you have many requests or your app is quite large, shouldn't be that problem. Yes, also it gives a little bit more air on the RAM.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I think that with the 4 gigabyte version, you can do the same things with the 8 gigabyte version. But yes, you have a little bit more chance, less problems with the RAM. So if you want to build something fancier, you could do it with the 4 gigabyte version. But yes, the 8 gigabyte version would be best. I mean,
yeah, it's really handy if you do some video encoding, for example.
Yes.
Actually, the CPU is quite powerful by now. Or if you do compiling or anything that needs some more RAM. I mean, it's really a niche. For me, the 4 gigabyte model was just fine so far.
Yes.
And now you have 8. if you need it. I mean, for me, the last Raspberry Pi I had, it had 1 gigabyte. I think the model before that.
That one that I have now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the thing with this one is that when you wanted something like GitLab, or if you wanted some more complex application, also like Atlassian's Confluence, those applications, when you will run them, you need at least 2 to 3 gigabytes of RAM, and that was never able on the Raspberry Pi. And now you have the new one with 8 gigabytes.
Yes.
So that will be completely enough.
Yes. Also, you could actually use it as a server, put some more apps, and that's really cool.
Yeah.
What would be overkill? Also, they have made also like a cluster you can buy with a Raspberry Pi.
Yes.
So you could have 4 or 5 Raspberry Pi, use it as a cluster, as a server, and that's huge. So you can have a really powerful server for the price that you have to pay for that, and you can host your applications on Raspberry Pi, and that's really nice.
Yeah. But it's actually now it's the most expensive Raspberry Pi.
Yeah. And
because
how much did you pay for the 4 gigabyte?
I think something around 55 euros.
So it went up for 50% of the price.
And now it's 75 British pounds.
I mean,
it's pounds, right?
Yeah.
75 pounds. So here in Switzerland, it's around 90 francs.
Yes.
Probably around 80 with shipping. 90
yes.
francs. So it's around $85. It's actually really pricey. But I mean, of course, you really need that 1 gigabyte, 8 gigabyte chip, and that one is really expensive because so far the Raspberry Pi Foundation had so far no possibility to get more than 4 gigabytes. Also because of the price and also of what it's available. Because I mean, of course, when you buy a computer, you have one 8 gigabyte RAM stick, but on this RAM stick you actually have 16 or 12 little parts. So if you have 8 gigabytes,
it should be 4 one side, 4 another side, something like that. So
it depends.
It depends on the model. But yes, so you have a really large stick.
Yeah. So usually when you have 8 gigabytes, I think it's 16 because you have to make, like that. It has to fit.
Okay.
It cannot be 12 because that number will be wrong. So if you have 16 small chips on your RAM and it's 8 gigabytes, each of those chips has only 512 megabytes. Now the Raspberry Pi has only one little RAM chip on it. So you need... This is quite an expensive RAM chip because it's only one chip and it's already having 8 gigabytes.
Yes, actually it's huge what they have done because in such little motherboard where you have everything, 8 gigabyte of RAM, it's not as huge as you can think.
Now, if you put 16 of those 8 gigabyte chips on one RAM stick, you have 128 gigabytes.
Yeah.
Now you can maybe think of those RAM chips, RAM memory chips, banks.
You said
if you have 16 chips on the memory slot, it's 128 gigabytes.
Okay.
That's a lot of RAM. Those are already available.
Yes, you can for the server or something.
Yeah, it's usually for server. Here, I have one right here. I can show you. So 128 gigabytes, and you can actually see you have 8 on one and 8 on the other side, and the Raspberry Pi 4 is now owning one of those little chips, and you can already see how pricey they are. I mean, it's not the same clock rate. I think I don't know the clock rate of the.
Oh, I don't remember,
it right now, but you can see how pricey those little 8 gigabyte chips are.
So that's quite huge what they have done. So I'm really happy for this new version because if you have some use cases, it helps. But
it really
for
helps.
the most of people that just want to have fun with a Raspberry Pi or do something small, go with the 4 gigabyte version. The price is quite smaller. Lower, sorry.
Smaller.
Lower. Are you kidding the price? It's smaller, so it's a better fit. But I mean, if you want to spend more money,
you can.
Yeah.
But it's cool because now you have actually the selection. You have 2 gigabytes, you have 4 gigabytes, and now you have also 8 gigabytes.
Yeah.
The 1 gigabyte model has been cancelled a few months ago because they actually were able to produce it for the same price. So they just removed 1 gigabyte. Now 2 gigabyte is the new minimum.
Yep.
And it's really cool. But it's also important because now finally 64-bit is coming to Raspberry Pi. And that's why you will really need 8 gigabytes of RAM.
Yes, that's a real reason.
Because applications will be more resource hungry.
Yes, that's really cool because so you can have a whole system on 64.
And this is really cool because with 64, I mean, with 32 bits, what it always had, you could only allocate 3 gigabytes to one process.
Yes.
That's the limit of 32-bit systems. And with 64 bits, that limit is, you can now allocate all 8 gigabytes to one process.
And that's also the reason why if you want to host with apps with 8 gigabyte and 64 bits, it's a lot better. You can actually give to one process almost 8 gigabytes, I don't remember.
Yeah.
But
I mean the maximum 8.
Yeah. So you can play with it. You can, if you know how to work on Linux, you also can just give some RAM always for the system and 7 gigabytes or 6 gigabytes to one application. So you can play with it. And for hosting, it's a lot better.
Also for graphical use cases. In the settings, you can allocate the RAM to the GPU. And this is important if you do recording, for example, full HD recording, and also encoding, transcoding, editing, whatever. Now you really can allocate 2 gigabytes to the GPU and have way enough still for everything else.
Yes. So you can, if you have higher end purposes with the Raspberry Pi, you have a lot of more options.
Yes.
And that's really nice.
Yes. Also Raspbian, the OS is now called Raspberry Pi OS.
Yeah, better because I
hated
the previous snare. It was always complicated for me. I'm not so good with names. So Debian for Raspberry Pi.
Yes.
And Raspberry OS is much more simpler. Makes sense. I mean, it's okay.
I like it.
You don't have to have Raspberry OS. You can use Ubuntu, CentOS, Arch Linux, whatever you want.
It's so cool to have all those other OSs now with this much more RAM.
Yes.
It really opens more usability for it. Beyond that, the PCB of the Raspberry Pi itself hasn't really changed. They actually updated the power switches a little bit.
Okay.
Because as I read, there are higher voltage peaks, so higher power peaks, peaks of power consumption when you use more of the RAM. They had to update this. So, but beyond that, it's still the same great device. You have you still have your 2 USB. We're still online, right?
Yes.
Okay. You still have the 2 USB 3.0 ports. You still have 1 gigabit.
Yeah. You have everything switch. That you had.
Before, you have the quad core, which you can actually overclock up to 2.1 gigahertz.
Yes.
Which is really nice.
It should be 2.145.
Yeah, but that's like really limited. Yes. And then it depends on your unit. Some units support it.
Yeah, of course. But I mean, I read some article that I could bring the gigahertz on this level. You need a heatsink, maybe also a fan, and a good airflow so that doesn't give problems to the CPU. But that is really fine. It's quite good level of gigahertz, so you can accomplish more stuff.
So you would actually, if you overclock it, you need something like this.
Okay, wait, it's not focusing. Yes.
It will focus now.
Yes.
So you will need something like this. This is an all heatsink case. Oh, come on, focus. It's focusing on your face. So that's what you need. And when you have something like this, you can, seriously, you can easily overclock it with this. I tested it, 2.1 gigahertz all the time.
Okay.
It didn't overheat anymore.
Yep.
It was also toasty, but that's okay.
Yeah, maybe you can also put a fan over it. So
actually, there is a model of this kind of case also with 2 fans on it, so that's possible. Okay, beyond that, I think that's really it.
Yes. Also, I think I will buy it because I have some ideas for the Raspberry Pi.
Yeah, and you also don't have a Raspberry Pi 4 yet.
No, I have the 3, the old one.
Yeah.
I tried to use it as home center, home media center with I don't remember the name of the software, but yes, it was.
This one will be much
really
better.
laggy.
The Raspberry Pi 4 has much better CPU.
Yeah, of course. So, but yeah, also we have some projects maybe for the channel.
Yeah.
So we'll see this later, maybe the few next weeks, and yeah, it could be fun.
Okay, shall we switch to the next topic?
Yes. So Android Studio 4.0, right? Yeah.
Yeah, 4.
4.
Now, I'm really curious about that because for me, I'm not an Android developer at all.
Yeah, also I was before an Android developer. Yeah. I started as an Android developer, then I switched as Java backend developer, actually more a software engineer. So sometimes I worked on side projects a little bit with Android, but yes, there is so much on Android that's going on. It's always improving itself.
Yeah.
And yes, and as well, Android Studio is the tool that Android developers usually use to develop Android apps. You can also always use IntelliJ or Eclipse. But yes, I mean, you have so much more with Android Studio. It's so much fancy, cooler. It helps you a lot. And today we are going to see some new features that were added that will help debugging and deliver better apps. So we can start with the motion editor. So when I was developing one of my first apps, I wanted to add, I needed to add some motion, also some animations. Yeah. Like when you press on an item that it pop-ups and you see this animation that comes in front of you. And wow, I need a lot of time to make this work because it was the first time that I need to do something like that. And all the animation were done with XML. So you had to write XML, transaction, and other stuff like that to make it work. Now they finally have added a feature where you can create animation over the UI. So we have a GIF that we can show. Yeah. And it could this feature, also this tool, let's call it tool, creates for you the animation. So you can say start, stop, how it has to animate, and yes. So then you have the XML for that. There is also works, for example, there is another GIF that I saw where you can, when you go on a page, the text is all black. No, I don't have it right now, but the text is all black, so you don't see the text. And then it goes white, and with this small animation where it comes up, and you can do it just with that. So yeah, it's really fancy. It helps a lot. You don't have to waste time on writing XMLs from scratch or see examples online. If you then want to go deeper, you can always modify the XMLs because this generates an XML. You can take the XML and you can modify it.
So how did you do animations before?
You had to write different XML files.
Okay.
So you had to say on start on. I don't remember actually because there were 2 or 3 years ago when I did that. So, but I remember I struggled to do that. It was quite complicated for me. Okay. But yes, also you had to write your own XML files and make it happen.
Yeah, it looks actually much better this way.
Yes. You can.
It looks really easy to actually do an animation. Yes. So, but when would you do something like this as an example?
That's an example, but if
you
see,
when would you do something like that?
Well, I can show you something else.
Maybe should I Google it here?
Oh, I don't have it here. It was like more a video.
Okay.
Maybe I can. Yes, wait a moment. Okay, here. Current time. I can send it to you where? I can put it on this.
Yes.
here. Okay.
Okay, I will just open it.
Okay, the audio.
Yeah, I will mute it.
So this is a video from Google, so you see the text.
Now,
how it
the
goes,
motion editor
and that's really
can
fancy
generate this
animation that you
XML
can
for
do,
you with
on the
support
app. So
for
when you
start
open,
and
you
end
can do a lot
states,
of animations,
keyframes,
like
transitions,
text,
and
a lot of stuff. We
timelines.
can stop now. That's
We have
there.
updated the layout
And yes,
inspector
you
to
can
provide complete
more
real-time
easily do
insight
That what we saw is just some examples. Okay.
and a
Okay,
smart
Google just started
editor
on my
for
phone.
R8
Wow.
rules.
And
Android Studio 4.0
yes,
includes a visual design editor for the motion
That's it?
layout
yes,
type.
that's it.
For the motion editor.
Yes.
Okay.
So fancy animations made simple. Okay. Then layout inspector. This is another neat new tool that they have added, where you can actually see in a much simpler way the hierarchy of your layouts. Because when you develop Android
The
apps,
what?
hierarchy. I'm not so this
Where-
word.
Hierarchy.
Hierarchy. Thank you.
The hierarchy. Okay.
Of the layouts, because usually you have an activity, then you have fragment, and you have some constraint layout, and you have this layout, that layout, linear layout, or yeah, a lot of layouts to make the UI happen.
Mhm.
So sometimes you want to inspect how the UI works. With these new functions, you can actually have running the app on your device, and you can see on this tool how it's going. So you can, when the view changes, what happened, and you can see actually the hierarchy of the layouts. And also,
Should I show the image?
yes,
It looks a little overkill. Maybe you can explain the areas
yes,
of it.
because they also have the live 3D model of the running app. So you can actually, also that's a little bit really fancy. I mean, I don't know when you will use that, but if you see here, these lines are all
Takes 4
layout.
seconds until you
Yes. So these lines that you see are all layouts that are beyond the first thing that you see on the right. So you can actually inspect how many layouts hierarchy you have. Yes, that's something a 3D view is a little bit fancy, but yeah, why not? Then you can see for each layout some options here. And what's also fancy, what I really like, is when you have running your app, the information is presented to you. So maybe you take the information from a database, or you take the information from the already printed on the XML for the layout, because there's fixed constant values. You can see where these resources are loaded. So you have you can inspect them and see, okay, this comes from the XML, and this comes from this class or from this source, and this helps you to find or debug more easily the app, and that's really cool. I mean, you can debug more easily. Okay, then we have layout validation, and finally they have brought something like that, because Android developers always have the problem that they deliver one app with one source code for thousands of devices. So
Yeah, that's true.
yeah, also at me happened when I started. I made an app, a fancy layout with image, background, okay, something fancy. And on my phone it worked, on the emulator worked, on 10 device worked as well. Then
On the most important devices, it didn't work.
no, I used Huawei P10. I don't remember which model, but Huawei from a friend that I know. It was completely wrong. It was completely different. So on 10 devices it worked perfectly. On one device it was completely different. And I was really stunned because I didn't know why this happened. But yes. So with this layout validation, you can see dynamically more layouts. So you can see for the Pixel 3 or portrait mode or different phones, actually, the layout, how it will be then the UI. on these phones, and then you can for one you can activate the night mode, so you will see how it's in normal mode, in night mode. You can see how it's for the colorblind, because Android has these colorblind functions, and you can see how looks your app with these functionalities activated. You can also see with different languages, so you can also test the text this, because it helps a lot. I mean, you can have German, Italian, English, and you can see in one page all three texts is displayed, and this helps a lot, because sometimes you forgot something on German or Italian, and yes, you will not see it, and you will receive a bug or something like that. Yes, this helps. Yes, then also you can see on portrait mode, or the normal portrait, how it's called on portrait and
portrait and
horizontal view at the same time.
Landscape,
yeah. Right? Landscape and portrait mode, and also font sizes, because user can change the font sizes on Android.
Yes.
So you can make bigger, smaller, and you can see how the UI looks when someone has changed this option. So it gives you a lot more possibility to see how your app looks, and this helps a lot.
So in Android Studio you can really kind of like update the user settings and see how it will affect your application. For example, font size.
Yes.
For example, the DPI.
Maybe I have an image that I can show. Okay, let's take this one.
Yes, that's really cool.
So I can. Okay, I will. Okay.
Oops.
So how you can see, there are different models of the version. Also here it's only different models, but yes, then there are some options here. They're not displayed now, but I saw in the it will be then some options here where you can change the text size, the color blind modus, night mode or not, if it's landscape or portrait, and other stuff as well. And so you can see
that looks horrible on the Pixel C.
Yeah.
Wow, I really hate it when apps are not developed, not adapted for this.
Yes, that's a shame. But so you can see how it changed Pro display type and settings of the Android phone, and that's really cool. Okay, then sorry. Okay, then now we can talk a bit more of technical stuff. We have a builder analyzer.
Okay.
So you can actually analyze the build. So when you build your app, it could take some time, and you can analyze why it takes so long. So this helps you to understand where are the problems. Maybe you are using some older dependencies versions, or the configuration is a little bit wrong. So it helps you to improve the build time. Feature on future dependencies. Also, there are instant apps. There are like apps that you don't have to install on your device. There are some future modules that they will be downloaded only when needed. So, for example, you have an instant app, you access the camera, and then the module for the camera is downloaded. Now they have added feature on future dependencies. Maybe you want to access maybe you have split the camera in two modules, maybe video and camera, or photo, video, and camera. So when you access the photo, when you need on the instant app the photo feature model, sorry, the
feature on feature.
The future dependency, it downloads automatically all dependencies of this feature. So you don't have to specify all, you just have to specify one, and all the dependencies that rely on this feature will also download it. So it's a small thing, but helps deploy better instant apps. then finally you can use more Java 8 functionalities on all Android APIs, because until now you could use Java 8 functionalities like optional or stream or the time package or concurrent hash maps only on some versions of Android. So maybe I don't remember, it was Android 7 higher or 6 and higher. I don't remember right now. But now you can use all this functionality of Java 8 for all versions of Java. So if you want to support older version, or you already have an app that supports older version, you can improve your code base, and that helps a lot, because Java optional is really important. Streams helps a lot. I use them all the time, and also Java time, because that it's always a pain in the ass and it helps a lot. So you have these functionalities of Java 8 that you can use. Okay, yes, so some new features on the Android Studio.
I mean, it's really nice. Cool to hear. I always like it when...
Hi, Hado.
Yeah, that was like 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, I just saw it, sorry. I was too concentrated.
Yeah, I said hi by doing that earlier.
Oh, I did see. So,
yeah. So I like it when it's more and more developers friendly.
Yes, also...
Because when the application that you use is actually helping you to have a better overview of your layouts, to better validate the layouts, the different layouts, or what was the first feature?
Motion.
The motion editor. These are actually powerful tools that will make it, especially for beginners, a lot easier.
Yes. Also, when I started to develop on Android, I started with the beta version of Android Studio. It was when I write 0.8. So I started really soon with Android Studio, and it was good, but it was not good like now. Okay, I bet that's of course. But you had this editor, layout editor, that you can use with drag and drop and everything, and I didn't like it. I mean, it was not so good, and I did all the layout programming on XML. So I write my own XML because I was faster with it. And then when it came to Android Studio 2 or 3, they have improved so much the editor layout that I then used always the editor layout and the XML just for some small improvements. So they are always improving it. It became so much better in the time that it's huge what they have done. And Android Studio released on IntelliJ. I mean, not IntelliJ, but on the how it's called, the software house that makes IntelliJ, JetBrains. It's based on JetBrains, and JetBrains, for me, it's one of the best developer teams that exist in the world. I use IntelliJ all the time. Really, really rare times I have problems with it, and it's such a good software. And also they help build Android Studio, and it's really good. So yes,
I use Visual Studio Code.
Oh, yeah, okay. On all 3 devices. Well,
yeah, that's called continuity at Apple.
Yeah.
I would just silence my devices again.
So yeah, it's a really, really good app. So if you want to build apps, go to Android Studio. Don't use Eclipse or IntelliJ.
Seriously? Wow. Yeah, because I just declined,
Yeah.
Now my sister is like, "Oh, why are you declining?" How
yeah, you have to write that. Okay. So we can go to the next topic.
Yeah, let me just write my sister.
Yeah, or do you want to add something else about Android Studio?
Nope, I'm done.
Okay. Yes. So finally, Sony is presenting games for the new PS5. All we nerds, geeks.
So sorry for interrupting. So what are we talking about?
PS5. PS5, and
yeah,
Sony announced that for the 4th June, it will be presented new games for PS5. They just talk about games, so I don't think they will present also the console. But yes, so we will know what games will be out there for the PS5. Also, they already announced 38 games, but there are more games that will renew or are for current gen and next gen. And so, but they will do a focus on games. So I guess they will do really cool games that will be presented, because otherwise it wouldn't make sense to make a whole conference just for dummy games.
Tetris 4K.
Yeah. So okay. So today we wanted to talk a little about some really cool features of PS5 and some leaks and some news that we heard in the past days.
Leaks are always nice.
Yeah. So we could have PS5 at our homes between October and December. I heard some rumors about the 20th November because it's really near Christmas.
Yeah.
And it's all the same date or similar date as the PS4 and other consoles that Sony has released. So yes, I hope it will be October because I want it as soon as possible. But yes, I mean, during this period we can have hands on our PS5. And the cost should be around $500. So it's not so bad because it
could be worse.
Yes, I mean
$600.
Yeah. That's three. But yes, I mean $500. I think it's a good price.
Is there a price for the Xbox?
No, I didn't check, but I mean they
will
be.
This price will be okay if the Xbox won't be $399.
No, I don't think so.
Because when the Xbox will be $399, then this will be a bad price.
Okay, let's just talk about Xbox versus PS5.
You really want to start that now?
No, just a little bit. Why? Okay, maybe I'm a little bit fun. I'm not a fanboy. I mean, I'm always objective.
Are such a fanboy.
Always had PlayStations, okay, for my consoles. So I just want to say one thing: games. Xbox is not coming with exclusive games for the new console. All the games that are coming out will be also for Xbox One X or for PC. Yeah. So I have a PC, and I don't see.
You're right. Yeah.
I mean, if you have an Xbox One X, you shouldn't buy the new console. I mean, okay, maybe just better graphics, but that's it. You have a PC, all games are coming there. A cool functionality that Xbox has and that I really like, and maybe I will buy the Xbox just for that, maybe, it's the retrocompatibility. So you can play Xbox 360, and Xbox One X games on the new Xbox. And that's really cool. So you have one console and a lot of more games. So they should be almost all compatible, but yeah, let's see that. And that's a really cool function. Yes, and I guess that Xbox is better as home media center than PS4, so you could also use it for that.
Yeah, but let's get back to the topic.
Yes, okay. So the best news that we heard about PS5 is SSD and the Tempest engine. Engine. Sorry, the Tempest engine. So let's talk about SSD. That's a huge improvement before it, because it's not just an SSD that you plug in. It's not just that. So also you're a developer. If you want a file that's if you want a file that's on the system, you need to have a path and a file name. Then what happens? Path, right?
Not path.
Path and the file name. Then you take this path and plus file name and you search it on the hard drive.
Yes.
What happens? The hard drive is searching this file.
Yeah. 3 seconds later.
Yes, I mean, on the PS4 it takes almost 250 milliseconds
wow.
to to get a file. And what they also do, they have done this for the Spider-Man, the game. They put more the same data replicated over the
Really?
yes, so it's go faster because it's a technique. So you take one for example, they had the trash bags, okay? They had so much trash bags replicated on the hard driver to find it faster because it was requested faster. Then they remove it from the HDD and put it on the RAM. So they used RAM spaces just for trash bags, okay? What happens now? You don't have path anymore on the SSD for PlayStation 4. You have an ID. You have an ID and it goes directly on this location. So you can load...
So the SSD has already allocated IDs?
Yes.
Okay.
How I understand it like this. So you can request data in 1 millisecond or something like that. So you need a trash bag for this frame, you get it for this frame or the next frame. Also it's 1 or 2 frames that it needs.
Nice that we take trash bags as an
example. I mean that's what example that they were talking about.
Welcome to humanity.
So yes, it's more faster, and you don't have to allocate so much more into RAM because previous we said the team that developed the Amazing Spider-Man had to take data from the SSD and put it onto RAM. They said they had like a rule: if the data was requested 4,000 times in a period, I don't remember now the period, they take it from the hard drive and put it into RAM. So they actually use a lot of RAM just for some assets, okay? And that's a huge amount of RAM that's used just for that. So with SSD, you can use a lot of more RAM for other stuff. And all the assets can be loaded from the SSD really quickly. And that's something really huge that is going to boost the games. So it's just not an normal SSD where the loading times is faster, but it's a completely different way to develop also these games.
I mean, it would be really cool if you have, in the end, games that kind of start like apps. I mean, when you start an app on your iPhone or Android smartphone, it's almost instantaneous.
Yeah.
Because it's so quick. And what I imagine would be really cool if you have games like Spider-Man or some other games, and you open them and it just goes boom. You're almost instantly in the game. For example, Monster Hunter World, what we are currently playing live.
Takes a lot of time.
It takes long.
Also, I remember Uncharted 3 on PS3 was wow. Fucking, you could have do a lot of other stuff while loading the next scene. And also, if I don't remember badly, also on the PS4, Uncharted 4 take quite long to load data. So yes, more fast data loading and improvements for assets management. And yes, another example, just this one. You have seen the trailer that was used for the Unreal Engine 5. And when the character jumps over, you see how fast all the elements are coming. So this was not possible on the PS4 because it takes a lot of assets that have to be loaded on the screen. And nowadays SSD is possible. And yes, so we will see. It will be really nice. Another functionality that I'm really hoping to see, and that's well developed, I hope that's well developed, is the Tempest engine. So they have said that they could create sounds from each object that's in the scene. So for example, they said, okay, let's say there is it's raining. Each drop of the rain could make a sound. So for each drop, there is a sound that comes into your ears, and that maybe it's a little bit extra, too much. But yes, I mean they are
welcome to the future. Now we can allocate 40% of the CPU.
They have a chip for that. They have made just a chip for the audio.
Okay.
So they are building this 3D audio.
That's really cool.
And
Okay.
I think audio is really important in games.
I mean, if you have a 7.1 system, and if the PS5 can actually render the audio for all specific parts.
Yes.
I mean, surround sound is already available for years now, but having so detailed sound, I think that would be really cool with 7.1.
Also, that would be a little bit difficult because you can have a TV or TV headset or other stuff.
Yes.
And so it would be not so easy. But if you use headset, as a normal headsets that you already have, it should be any problem and you should benefit of the 3D audio.
That would be actually really cool. You know, when, I mean, surround sound is the one thing, but when you actually have a sound on the right side, of course, you can just make it louder on the right side than on the left side, but that's not real 3D.
No.
Real 3D is when the sound coming from there first hits your right ear and then the left ear. Then the brain will actually interpret that correctly, that something is over there.
Yes.
But that needs way more processing. Because you actually need sound delay, you know?
Yes, but this is what they're trying to make. They want
that's really cool. That's really
each
cool.
object on the scene as his sound.
Yeah.
So if each object is sending sounds, and then they can manage how it goes on your brain, on your ear.
Yeah.
It's really 3D, and you can really be more immersed in the game scene.
Yes.
And I think it's so important audio in games. And yes, I mean, that will be really make a huge improvement on the previous generation. Okay, then the controller. The controller has had some new stuff like adaptive triggers, so you can have some vibration on the triggers. This already exists on the Xbox One controller.
Yeah, I never tested it. No.
Me neither, but yes, there is. I tested once, and it was cool. Yes, finally also on PS4, and they said if you are going to it on a surface where it's more grip or on grass or sand, you can feel the differences. And yes, so and there is also a microphone on the.
But wait, do they have? So they have those adaptive triggers on the PS. But I also read that they have like different. How should I explain it? When you push it, that it can be harder or less hard. So, for example, if you have an old weapon, then you cannot press it that easily because it's rusty.
Yes.
Do they have that?
Yes. Oh, because the developers can manage the controller actually. So
but how is it working, like in the controller?
Because you can give force to that. You can make it that it doesn't trigger, or
you can even block it.
Also, I don't know this. It would be cool. Yeah, but what I understand, you can manage how hard can it be to trigger it.
Yes.
Because it pushes back somehow.
That's what I read as well, and I think it's really cool. It's a little things.
Yes, but I mean, if you have a weapon, because you have different weapons, okay?
Yeah.
And, so let's say Call of Duty or Battlefield, you have different weapons.
Yes.
Each weapon feels different, so you can actually feel the difference also on the pad, and that would be really, really nice.
Yes, that's true.
So the adaptive sync, there is no more the share button. They have changed it with create button because they want to improve a lot the sharing and the create. So where you can you can create more content. So it's not just sharing content; it's actually creating content. So for that they changed the button.
Okay.
Yeah,
will be interesting.
They have also a microphone now on the controller and the input jack like the PS4, so you can use dummy headphones that you can use, and the microphone is already on the PS DualSense controller. They have changed the name. So
regarding the sharing, it would be really nice if they have some ability to get the video stream over network or some other way, because I mean, streaming over the PS4, for example, is really nice because it's really easy to actually share your gameplay. But I think it's maybe not so competitive on Twitch, for example. You have those people with those crazy overlays and everything, and nobody on that level is using the overlay of the PlayStation itself.
No.
And you always need this streaming card. It would be really nice if they already improved the creating part of sharing.
Yes.
When they give some more access to it, you know, that would make it way more professional.
I think they will, because they have made a lot of work on that.
Yeah.
So let's see what they have done. Yes. Then.
Sorry for interrupting you.
No, it's okay. Now the controller is white, as
Yeah.
what have you seen? But there is the video that I saw of when they made the presentation for the event on the 4th June. It seems there is also a black version.
Okay.
I'm not sure. You can check it out, then the video, but it seems almost black. Also, the video is really dark, so maybe I have seen wrong. But yeah, maybe there is also a black version, because a lot of people complain about the white version of the controller. So maybe Sony, just to make happy the fans.
I mean, at some point they will.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, also PS4 had so many colors.
Yeah, of course.
And I have the official gray one, the retro edition.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but it's not here. It's in Barcelona as well.
Okay.
So much stuff laying around there.
Microsoft has made a functionality, a website where you can make your own controller.
Wow.
No, wait, it's really cool. I wanted to do it.
But I like it. That was a wow.
Oh, okay. I mean, it was a wow, yeah.
No, I meant like wow.
No,
that's actually really cool.
You can change the color of of everything.
Yeah, that's nice.
And I made a really strange controller. It was pink with yellow, blue, orange, violet. Okay, different colors.
It's like the website where you can make your own Nike shoes.
I don't know the Nike shoes.
Yeah, but there is something like this as well. You can customize it.
You can customize a lot. You can change, see what buttons do you want and everything. You can also print a text over. Okay.
Wow.
That's really cool, and it doesn't cost so much. I have that all the features, and it was like 80 euro, and
that's just
the
fine.
shipping is free.
Okay.
But the problem is they don't ship in Switzerland. So yeah,
but I can show you, there is an address in Germany where you can send stuff to, and they will then send it to your home address here.
Okay, we can.
And you don't have to pay taxes
okay.
also. But that's a different topic.
Okay. So I would like if Sony will do something like that, where you can make your own controller. I had really fun doing that.
I'm a fan.
Okay, then something really nice that I've seen. There are some rumors about the PlayStation
5, 4. VR, okay.
There are some.
Hey, you said it correctly.
Yeah, I'm improving myself.
Fabio is improving.
So they have added a new patent for the wireless. I think wireless motion controller, and you can actually show it.
How?
Where? That I give you.
Oh, actually, the iPad disconnected from Streamlabs. We just reconnect.
Okay.
Okay, that's looking interesting. Yeah, I know. There we go.
So also, it's not official that is for the new PS5.
It's just a patent that they.
It's a patent that the Sony created.
That's official that they made the patent.
Yeah, the patent is of Sony. Okay. So how it works? That's you put in your hands from here. I mean, and then there is a trigger. There were 60. Okay.
That was random.
Yeah.
Also, people cannot see your finger.
Yeah, no, I was saying.
Say the numbers.
Yeah. On the 16, there is this button. It's the trigger that you can use. Then there is where you see 21. That's a sensor where your fingers lays. So they can sense your fingers. I don't know what you can do then, but yes. Then on 22, there is another sensor for distances between more sensors. And yes. So that could be the new controller for PS5 2, and it could be a lead that they are making the new PS5. and maybe another leak, but just a leak. So yeah, it could be wireless. Yeah, yeah. It's a leak. It's not official.
Yeah.
So maybe it's just bullshit. But yeah, it could be wireless, and it would be nice because you don't have so much cables.
I don't expect everything to be wireless.
No, but I mean, yeah.
Beyond that, no other information about PSVR. I mean, I will be really happy when they improve it. I mean, they will improve it.
Yeah.
Because right now the current PSVR VR has a really low resolution display.
Yes.
Did you try it?
Yes.
Yeah. Me too, and I never liked it.
Yeah.
It was too bad. It was just too bad.
It's more a toy, but yeah, for some games it's funny. But
I can understand because it's made for the PS4, and it's not so powerful. They require to run with 75 or 90 hertz, and that's already a thing for PS4 games. You don't have many games that run with that much high refresh rate. So, and you had a low resolution. I would really like a new PSVR.
Yeah, it will make totally sense to have a new one. So
because that will be really cool.
I'm quite sure they will do it. So yes, then what else? Okay, they have presented some games, but we already knew about these games just to make some names. So maybe there is Rainbow Six Quarantine.
Quarantine?
Yes, as it was presented last year.
Oh, Rainbow Six Quarantine Edition.
Yeah. I don't remember actually, but yes, it should be a good game. Path of Exile 2 should be also cool. Gothic remake.
Maybe you want to post it into the chat?
Yeah, we can share it. Yes. Then there is Gothic remake. Also, Gothic is an old RPG that needs a huge good.
The chat, DIGITLZ.
Yes.
Oh, it's your personal account.
It's okay.
Yeah, who cares?
Okay, and yes. So, okay, wait. Other games we were talking about: Godfall, Dying Light 2, Dragon Age 4, Dirt 5. So and Battlefield 6. There are some games that will be present, but yes, there are games that were really new there. So let's see what they will present the 4th June.
Yeah. By the way, we should hurry up a little bit.
Oh yeah.
It's already 8.
There is 1 hour that we saw that really 1 hour ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
let's talk about the setup that we have.
Okay, yeah. Just let's finish with PS5. So yeah, I just wanted to have a smooth transition from PS5.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm really happy when the next generation will arrive. It will just give some more oomph into the gaming industry for the home consoles. And I think I really like how they adapt. For example, Sony with the PS4 already and with share and play, and you can just easily share your game screen. And we'll see what else they will introduce. I mean, also, I would be really.
What I like they have done is that they didn't just focus on graphic and that's it.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the new Xbox will deliver, but I didn't hear anything about changes for the audio or the controller.
Yeah.
So let's see when they present. Maybe they will do something cool, I hope, because competition is always good. But yes, I'm really grateful that they are improving audio because it's a huge part of games. It's really important, and it was never improved in the consoles. So it's always the same. Yeah, okay, quality is improved, but it's always the same. Since the first PlayStation and now since didn't change so much. So yes, quality of course, but now we could use 3D audio. And also they have improved the controller with its triggers, so you feel more, you have more senses. So audio senses and touch senses. So I'm really glad for that.
Okay, let's see what the future holds. Okay, so next topic will be that we just talk a little bit about our streaming setup. We made some improvements. Maybe some of you noticed it already. This one is much closer now.
Yes.
Yeah, we just try to improve audio and video for now. We are running from a Windows machine right now. So it's just a Windows 10 with an i5 and an Radeon RX 580. It's really medium, but damn it,
Yeah.
now the other side. What it allows us is that we can now stream with 1080p, as you can see, with 60 hertz, so really smooth.
Yes, a huge improvement.
Yeah, that's a huge improvement. Also, the hardware is now not overheating. Before we were using a MacBook Pro. Now we're using an actual desktop tower, which won't overheat, hopefully, for now. And also audio. I mean, we got, like, can you see it? Almost a little digital analog converter here. And also by that, it allows us to put the microphone way closer to our faces, so we can so you can hear us better. We have less echo. We also, I won't show it now. We got also some acoustic foam.
Yeah, and one just went down for the second time. Fell down.
Fell down the second time.
So,
also ripped apart a little bit. Damn it.
Yeah. And okay, we show you just because it fell down. So yeah,
it looks like that. If you've never seen acoustic foam, now you've seen.
Yeah, I guess they have seen. Well, we have 6 of them. So yes, as camera we are using a Sony.
Yeah, but that didn't really change it.
Yeah, no, okay, but
we're still using a Sony. Sorry, Sony Alpha 6300.
That's a really good camera.
Yeah, it really has a good quality. I'm really happy with it so far. The Elgato capture card, the Elgato Cam Link will come here around mid-June. Yeah, so certainly. It will take like 3 weeks until that arrives. 2 weeks? Actually 2 weeks, yeah. That will be cool. Now we can also do, finally, 1080p game streaming. Because on the PlayStation 4 itself, we could only do 720p streaming. And also, what was the other problem? Yeah, before we could not really do any game streaming because we didn't have the setup. We didn't have the computer, which is powerful enough to do actually 1080p streaming. And
yes.
So, as you may have noticed, we already did some game streaming sessions. We will improve on that as well, with some new and neat overlays in Streamlabs, so in the stream, and also with better perspectives. Maybe we will get a green screen at some point.
Yes.
We really want to improve, and we hope you see it. So yeah, that's for our little update. Audio and sound seems to be okay for now. Next step will actually to improve the overlay, because right now we don't have any overlay. You only see us.
Yeah.
We have no overlay, we have no information, we have no chat box, but we will improve on that as well. And
so yes, also the first dives that we made, it was really to start doing them.
Yes.
And see what we need for them. So we have improved a lot our equipment. We see how which works, and so now we're gaining ideas how to share more content on YouTube. We will start to use soon Instagram, Facebook more. So we have a lot of ideas we will improve in the moment, but we really wanted to start doing the streams because it's really difficult to have all prepared and start them, because you have to have experience and you have to start to do content. So yes, we started. Maybe the numbers are not so great right now, but that's not a problem. We are improving, we are learning, and we have content that we can share in the future on many platforms. So yes,
I'm really excited to see the quality of this after the stream.
yes, me too.
Okay, so yeah, that's for it.
Yes,
That's
okay.
it for today. So yeah, thank you for watching.
Yes,
Don't forget our we have 2 streams every week.
at
On
least.
Monday, at least on Monday 7 p.m. the game stream.
Mhm.
Every Monday 7 p.m. Central European time, and on Saturday, like today, at 7 p.m. the DIGITLZ Talk.
Yes,
And beyond that, we will have some streaming sessions,
Yes.
some random streaming
we
sessions.
had one yesterday
Yeah.
where we played Monster Hunter.
Yeah.
So other streams can come really randomly.
Yeah.
So you can use the Telegram app or just activate the notifications.
Yeah.
And yes,
Follow us on Twitch.
right, on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and visit our website digitlz.com.
DIGITLZ.com.
Okay, yes. Sorry, digitlz.com. Okay, so see you on Monday and next week.
Yeah. So
Ciao.
yeah. Bye.